Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 778, the yawning edition. Ben Askren already yawning. 8:17 in the morning. He's ready for bed. I'm Christian Piles. I'm joined by the Revolution himself in his Prince shirt, James Dean Rader, Shane Sparks, keeping it cash, no buttons, and a hat today. My gracious, just mailing it in, Shane. Mailing it in.
Old school Atlanta Braves hat. Opening week in baseball, or almost the opening week of baseball. So Braves off to a 3-3 start. The reigning champs. So
yeah,
I haven't seen the Braves play a game all year.
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, me either. But what is that's the old Atlanta Braves?
Yeah. Yep. One of the older, logos. 70s,
Yeah, it looks like
probably.
a Masonic symbol or something.
Yeah,
I
even
do
know
not
what it is.
recognize that. Put your head down a little more. What is that?
Oh, it's the tip
I'm
of a
not even
spear.
sure.
It's the tip of a spear.
You think so?
Yes.
But a real
How could
quick
you be
music
sure?
note. Is that
Uh-oh.
is that really a Prince shirt, JD?
It is.
Uh-oh.
Biggest regret of my life was not seeing Prince musically. I mean, that was number one on my bucket list. Number one. From a music standpoint, number one on my list. Never saw him. Now number one on my bucket list is Pearl Jam. Got to get that done.
Oh, yeah.
But luckily, you'll be happy to know I did check off the Lionel Richie box a couple summers ago. So
Thank
I'm good.
goodness. Yeah, I was worried
Everyone's
about
got to
that
check
one,
off that
Shane.
Lionel Richie box.
If you
What
didn't
is
hear him
Lionel
sing
Richie
hello
sing?
in
I can't
person, who
even-
knows?
Oh, he's got so many, Ben.
I don't
Just
even
Google
know.
Lionel Richie, and you'll love him.
Honestly, you guys are kindred spirits in hair, Ben.
Look at
He's
this.
got-
Look at this. It's just
yeah.
I wake up and it's just freaking awesome like this. What did you guys see? I want to see something funny. I do. You want to see this, guys?
Yes,
you
we
can
do.
actually see it today. I don't know if you're picking up on it.
Uh-huh.
So I got this curl right here.
Yeah.
Right, it's a widow's peak, and it curls, and it goes right in front of my nose. And it drives me when it's sweaty, and it drives me freaking crazy. So I cut that one curl. I cut it off, and usually you can't see it.
I was about to say, it doesn't look like that curl could reach it to your nose, but okay, I get it.
Yeah,
cut
no, it goes right in between my eyes when it gets sweaty, and and so I hate it, and I cut it off.
I used to shave my widow's peak. I got one too, and I would literally shave it, that much. But
Wow.
yeah, I get it.
Gotta
I
keep it
get
out the eyes.
Yep.
Jeez. I just get haircuts. You guys have had to go to tremendous lengths to maintain that. But two legendary hairs in the game of wrestling. So, who's to say? Okay, classic clickbait JD title here. NIL collectives are going to change the landscape of college athletics. Now, have you guys read up on the collectives? The NIL collectives. These are different sort of thing. JD, you're bullish on them. Can you give a quick cliff notes on what they are, how they're kind of different from the other NIL stuff we've been talking about?
Well, it's a way for fans or alumni to literally set up funds for a university of their choice, and they can donate to, and that fund is for athletes, for NIL deals. They get, in return for donating, they get, autographs or memorabilia or something like that. So there is an exchange, so to say, but yeah, universities are literally just setting up fun, or universities are not setting them up, but alumni and fans, yes, are sort of setting up these funds.
This
that are
seems like
affiliated.
another misuse of an NIL, because an NIL, name, image, and likeness, is to use someone's name, image, and or likeness for a company to promote themselves, to bring business into their company. This a collective is not a company in any way, shape, or form.
So, well, I would say, Ben, the counter to that is if you're signing autographs, that was kind of one of the primary examples of the things they were permitted to do in the past. That people were like, wait, you can't make money off signing an autograph? Like Johnny Manziel, I think, got in trouble for that.
Yeah, I got you. I remember.
amongst others.
Amongst many others. And I would say it's an exchange of services, whatever, for money. I think that makes sense. Various memorabilia. I'm glad JD got that out of the way. So I thought about
It's a tricky one.
It's a tough one. I don't know if I would have got it the first crack. So the thing is, these are popping up a little bit in wrestling. There's 10 schools with wrestling that have collectives, but only a handful of them actually have the funds set up for the wrestling program. One of them is Penn State. And they actually, David Taylor is like was he considered a sponsor? What is it? His role within it. He's on like the advisory board or whatever for Penn State. UVA has one. Shout out. And West Virginia, the Country Roads Trust
Brackey definitely set it up.
Definitely the brainchild of Kyle Brackey, or so we'll claim.
Should be
It definitely seems though, as this seems to me as I read it, as definitely something that, you know, when you set up rules, sometimes you're not going to realize all the outcomes of said rules, and so like, you know, I feel like an athlete selling a T-shirt or an autograph on the open market is outstanding, great, right? I freaking love it. I love that they're able to do it. I think they've always should have been able to do it, and they couldn't. But this feels like, let's put some money together so we get the best athletes, or keep the best athletes, and then we have to have something in exchange for that. So what are we gonna have in exchange for that? Ooh, let's do autographs and T-shirts and some other crap we don't really want all that bad.
So you can get the T-shirt and the autograph package for $20,000.
20K.
Autographs and 2 T-shirts for $25,000.
Well,
That's where it's going, right? I mean,
I see what you're saying.
I know. Sorry,
no, you go.
Person.
No, you please.
Okay. Well, I've been thinking a lot about this because I mean, you know, like I think someone asked a question like, "What's the easy cleanup for this?" And because you know, you could say, well, it has to be, say, a real business operating a real profit that's going to actually pay an athlete who's going to bring in some revenue, which is that's what it should be doing. But there's not really any way to police that, like, because I've had plenty of businesses sponsor me, and especially in the early days of MMA, these dudes were throwing out numbers, and like most of them businesses went under. Like probably, I don't know, 7 out of 10 businesses that sponsored me, like they didn't make it, right? They were throwing a bunch of money at it, hoping that they were going to make it big. They didn't. They went bankrupt. They're gone. You know, so it's like it's going to be super hard to police. I would say almost impossible, or not worth the NCAA's time.
It's absolutely going to be impossible to police.
Yeah.
But don't you at least have to try to?
You have to pretend.
I mean,
you have to pretend.
I mean, I might be way oversimplifying this, and it's probably been said a million times because I'm not that smart, quite frankly, in this stuff. But there's got to be like it's basically like a cap, right? You can have NIL deals, but there's got to be some kind of cap. There has to be.
I don't think so.
You mean a cap per athlete or a cap?
No,
per team,
I think
or
it's almost. I mean, I would almost use it like I'll use the salary cap example in football, like to make it real simple. Like you have X amount of money that you can raise. Like you can, I mean, maybe, I don't know what the number is, whatever the number is. There's a cap, and then you're able to distribute that within your organization. In this case, your team. There's got to be some kind of level set here, or this is at least.
But Shane, do you want to set it per athlete or per team, or like
per team? Per team. Because if you do it per athlete, that doesn't solve anything.
Yeah.
It's got to be per team. But I just think there's got to be some kind of, you at least have to try to regulate this in some way, shape, or form. Or this, in my opinion, because I've been thinking about this a little bit, and I think it was last week or the week before we talked about it, like, all about the athletes getting paid and this and that. The more I think about this, I'm not a fan of the NIL stuff. Not a fan of it.
Really?
And I know the guys should be getting paid. You know what, guys? Again, this is just, maybe it's old man, get off my lawn. Sometimes life's not fair. You're going to college, you get an education. Like you can't, not everything works out perfect all the time.
Oh, I hate this take.
This NIL stuff, if this NIL stuff keeps trending the way it is right now, you can't tell me this is good for wrestling or college athletics. You just can't. Or I'd love to hear it, why you think it would, because I think it's got disaster written all over it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely potential for that. But when you think of, so I think of as an athlete's perspective, athletes are being taken advantage of, especially for wrestling specifically. Their prime years of their most value is during college.
Well,
and so
hold on there.
What?
I mean, that is true, but if the only reason they have value is because they're affiliated with a college, are they actually? Because why?
Yes,
how come when Zane Rutherford graduates, things change? How come when Spencer is never, maybe his earning potential is best when he's at Iowa? Well, what's the variable?
Iowa, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt that I mean, and so that's why I shouldn't say 100% of profit should go to the athletes, right? But the athletes should get to make a little bit of it. It shouldn't be zero athletes, 100% the university. I mean, and that's with any large bureaucratic organization, whether it's the NCAA, these large institutions, the IOC. I mean, listen, the Olympics was all amateur for many years, and we all thought, holy shit, that's stupid. That is so dumb.
Yeah.
And then now it's not. And the Olympics has found a way to make it work. No one's like, oh my God, I can't believe these Olympic athletes are actually getting paid. Nobody says that, right?
No.
So we obviously need to be able to make a functional system for the NCAA. And yes, is it going to have some kinks as we work it out? Of course, right? But if we're smart and we work at it, I'm sure we can come up with a good solution.
Yeah, make it some kind of cap. I mean, you guys, that's what I think. And then you can distribute the funds within your organization and got to figure it out. You can't just have a free for all where there's no, hey, any athlete can get whatever they want. So it's going to be the same schools with all the money, and there's not a lot of those.
Yeah, obviously in the Olympic situation for America, because that's probably what we care about. We're not really worried about one team winning more, right? It's just like whoever makes a team, and we don't care. I love that. For example, we talk about wrestling all the time. These wrestlers are compensated fairly well, whereas even 15 years ago, guys weren't sticking around as long because they were so poor, they weren't making any money. And now we have a lot of guys who are making like decent livings, and they stick around and wrestle, and that's a really good thing. But we're not worried about like, oh my gosh, Iowa got another guy because they have a huge NIL deal or potential, right? Something we're hearing. And the Olympic level, we're just not worried about that at all.
Yeah. And I'm curious what's the main difference there, right?
It's a team thing, right? It's everyone, every single person right now is worried about how this NIL is going to affect their own team, right? And it's really funny because currently everyone's scared about what's going to happen. So if you think about it, it's going to be a net zero, right? Meaning some teams are going to probably benefit from it, some teams are going to get hurt from it, and some teams are probably going to have little to no effect from it, right? It will be a total net zero. There's still going to be a 1st through 10th place at NCAAs. But I think at this point, everybody's scared it's going to hurt their team, right? Penn State's scared to hurt their team. Iowa's scared it's going to hurt their team. Obviously, the smaller schools are probably more correct in being fearful. That's probably going to hurt them the most. I don't know for sure. I would guess that to be the case, right? But everyone is scared right now, and there's no one like, yes, we're going to kill it in this. Maybe Iowa. That would be it.
Yeah. I wonder, part of me is sort of thinks like Shane, like, man, what is this? And I talk to coaches and Coach Pendleton and other coaches that are really nervous about the impact of NIL on the overall health of college wrestling. And then I think about the other side of like, man, I feel like I hear about these boogeymen college wrestling destroyers all the time. Like there's always these things that are propped up as things that are going to be like the beginning of the end of college wrestling, and I'm not so sure about it. I'm not sure it's that bleak, but I'm not around academia or these programs enough to really understand that, to know fully the conversations. That's why I talk to people about it, but I'm not there where I think this is going to signal some sort of demise of college wrestling. I think it's going to, my thought is the first year or two is going to be calamity, and everyone's going to sort of learn a lot, and then the screws will get put to different aspects of it, and then maybe we get a little more shape to it, to where
like
right
the NIL
now,
collectives,
like a collective. Collectives are a good example of it. So I think there is going to be some things to clean up. Like there's going to have to be some sort of a trackable transfer of, you are getting money for this service, right? Not the service of wrestling for this school. And it's gonna have to get more. It should be reported on in some way.
Do you think it should be made public?
I don't know, man. Well, the one counter, a lot of these are public universities, right? So there's
some aren't.
Some are, but
Penn State famously does not make their stuff public.
Right. So with that example, I would say probably not. The private institutions are private. And I do think that
but also
personal finances are like a sort of a private thing in general, unless you're like, running for office or something like that.
What do you guys all make?
Doing what?
Okay.
Well, Ben was talking about getting a private jet sometime.
Yeah,
soon,
he's
so
talking
Not
I
yet.
think
private
we're on,
jets.
I think we're on a little different levels.
Current state of crypto, I got a little bit of ways to go.
Yeah. Yeah, you're on that Southwest.
Southwest is too expensive these days.
All
These airlines,
flying is nuts right now. Everyone is getting delayed. It's bad.
It's bad. You know what Southwest does? They're pissing me off. I'm about to stop flying them. They do this gimmick. They've done it 3 times, 2 to me, and then 1 for I book for somebody else.
They delay you on purpose.
No. You buy the direct, and then they do this gimmick where they text you a new flight, and it has a stop in it. It's like, no, I don't want to stop. I want to fly direct. I bought an effing direct flight. This is crap. It's so annoying.
That happened. Yeah, something like that happened to me too. I think United, which I don't like United, but sometimes it's like you get that sweet direct. You just got to go for it, right? And they've done that too. So I don't think it's just Southwest, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay.
I like Delta. I think Delta's the.
Yeah, Delta's the fastball, I think too.
Yeah. Shane, you fly a lot. You would know. Shane, speaking of fastball, you doing some baseball commentary?
I just did 2 games. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Different.
Who? Big Ten Network?
Baseball. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Did
all right.
Northwestern Indiana week and a half ago, and then last Saturday did Nebraska Rutgers. So it was a lot of fun. Different.
Baseball is so different because like there's so much time filling with just like it's a completely different thing.
And even I would say the bigger challenge is the first game I did was in Chicago in a studio off monitors. We do a lot of wrestling like that. And I got to tell you, I think in a lot of ways it's easier, which is surprising. I went to Nebraska. The monitor was there in person. It's a little bit different. You have to get used to it. And I haven't done enough of it when you're kind of paying attention to, watching the monitor. Maybe then you hear the ball, crack of the bat. Then you're up, trying to locate the ball. And it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I love baseball. I've always said, I've said this a million times. For me, wrestling is the best sport and baseball is the best game. Just a great game. Checks all the boxes. Those 2 sports for me check all the boxes. And I love NFL. But that was a good time.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. When's your next gig?
I got one more. Sunday. I think it's April 29th, I think it is. Sunday afternoon out of Chicago.
Nice.
Northwestern Michigan State, maybe. I can't remember. I will say this. You do Big Ten wrestling is premier conference, Big Ten baseball, not as much, but you give me a baseball game with a pair of teams that are 0-20 and I'll treat it like the 7th game of the World Series. I just love it.
Really?
I really do, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, I've done 1 versus 2 in college wrestling a bunch of times and I'm super jacked up for it. I can tell you I got the same. I think I just I'm just thankful to do it. I mean, just being able to do it. I would say on Saturday, I made that drive from the hotel to the baseball stadium, Hawks Field, Haymarket Park in Lincoln, Nebraska. That ride was 10 minutes long. It was probably one of the coolest 10 minutes of my life, I would say. It was just such a cool feeling to get in the car and drive to a ballpark. Like, cool feeling.
Nice. Well, that's cool. Well, everyone tune in. Blow up the ratings for the Northwestern Michigan State baseball game. They're like, what's going on? Why are so many people watching this?
Real quick, Big Ten baseball, shout out to Rutgers. I mean, Rutgers right now is they're tops in the Big Ten. They're up to their best start in program history. Those guys can hit, and they're all about 6'2", 225. Nice. But they can hit. So Rutgers baseball is on fire right now. It's fantastic.
When Shane's going Thursday on Flow Baseball Radio Live, right?
Flow Baseball Radio Live, that's right.
I'll tell you what, I love it. It's funny you bring that up because obviously I'm on the sales side of things for Flow, and we talk about baseball a lot, and I'm always sitting there like, man, I love it. I love baseball. Baseball, wrestling too. But man, baseball is just a different kind of feeling for me. There's something about it. I love it.
All right, off baseball. We gotta go. We're talking about wrestling. Too much. We've already done. This is our yearly quota of baseball, Christian. I don't talk about baseball no more.
You like the Brewers, though, man, right?
I enjoyed baseball growing up, and then now I just watch wrestling and fighting and Bitcoin. And that's
Did you ever throw at the first pitch at the Brewer game?
I did one time.
Yeah, thought you did.
Yeah.
Freaking cool was that?
It was good.
Was it a
I
strike?
threw a strike. I think it was close. You know, I didn't throw a fastball because I didn't want
You went splitter. That was I remember you throwing.
That was nice.
Nasty.
You know, nice. Yeah.
Okay.
All
right. Let's we'll keep it moving. I don't know where we were. Oh, collectives. We were talking about the end of college wrestling as we know it, and it's impending doom.
Pending doom.
Fun stuff.
Fire Shapiro to Cornell. We actually just brought him up yesterday. So we're talking about the Journeyman World Classic. I like that you guys are live updating your recruiting rankings too. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
You kind of poo-pooed that when you first saw it.
Oh, he unpooped it.
You were like, what's going on? Already recruiting class rankings? Now you understand?
It's kind of cool. Shoots Cornell right up there. So and I'm told it's Shapiro.
Shapiro?
Yes. I don't.
All right.
His own. I don't understand. I've known this last name for forever, but it's been pronounced. It's Shapiro in Myers.
Got a real quick last name.
You've not known a slice dog.
Here's another one. Last name. I'll make this real quick. Ohio State. I love what they do. Minnesota does it. Ohio State does it. Those two come to mind. On their website, when you go to the bios, they have the kids say their name and where they're from. And Carson Hartlaw from Ohio State is on his bio, and he goes, Carson Hartlaw. I was getting, social media, people are on my case going, now that when he beat Marinelli, now that he's won a couple big matches, can you finally get his name right? I just sent the link to the guy. I'm like, you got a problem with his name? Take it up with him.
Yeah. Fight him.
Yeah.
Shane, you read your mentions too much. You need to take the Skip Bayless approach. He doesn't read his mentions. I saw you were going after Skip Bayless.
I've responded to Skip twice in the last 12 hours, and I'm upset with myself that he sucks me in. Every Skip Bayless take, and I love Skip. I love him. But every single take he has the word if in it.
You're blind to one from 2017.
I didn't even know that.
2017.
That is hilarious. I do not remember tweeting that I couldn't remember that to save my life, but that is one of my best tweets ever. If
many ifs.
If. I hate it. I hate the word. Take two words out of the English language.
Wait.
And luck.
How did we get a Shane Sparks tweet from 2017? Because someone tell me that.
Because Tyler's a legend. Tyler's a legend.
That is impressive.
Tyler, pipe into this show right now and tell me how you got that up there.
I've been trying to get Tyler.
All right, I'm live on the air. I literally just searched Shane's Twitter, added Skip Bayless to the end, and there's dozens and dozens and dozens of tweets. This is the most noticeable one.
I love him. I think he's awesome. He sucks us all in, but it's always if. It's amazing to me how you can have that much success when you're talking hypotheticals.
Bro, he's got you, Shane. He has you wrapped around his finger. Like right now, you're getting worked up about Skip Bayless.
Yeah, I'm getting a lather. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Skip is loving it. All the way to Skip.
Tyler's such a legend to find that tweet that fast.
Tyler, that's impressive.
He's a legend. We got to keep him away from Rogan because he'll be the new Jamie because he can find everything very fast. So Shapiro is a great get for sure for Cornell. I didn't know this was coming so soon. Obviously the Shapiro and Yanni bromance. Shapiro big fan. Not bromance, but he obviously really looks up to Yanni, and I think they've trained together, and I think that was probably a big that's probably a big pull for him as well. Obviously, both guys have freestyle. He's a big freestyle guy. Sorry, Shane. He likes winning world titles and stuff like that. But it's a good get. And, I didn't know he was a Cornell lean. I figured he was just kind of a Big Ten-bound guy. So, great get for Cornell. Anything else to add on this?
Yeah, I got something else to add here.
Please add.
Are we going to do Shapiro versus Chittum at who's number one next year or what?
That's funny. We were talking about that last week. Yeah, we definitely shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should.
Need them at the same weight class. Those are two savages.
Yeah,
they will let it fly.
And my other comment is I want to say you said this already, Christian, but as you're looking at the board of 2023, and we are in the spring of that class's junior year. It is pretty amazing how many of them are already spoken for. I mean, we're talking 75% of the top 50 or something like that. It's freaking crazy to me. And then, so part of me thinks like how many of these will actually change, right? Because they have 18 months roughly until an actual signature type commitment will happen.
Is it 18 months?
Yeah. Oh no, you're right. It's only 7 months because
it's
next
in
year.
November.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, never mind. Wow, I'm way off.
But to your point, Ben, a lot of these guys are already off the board. The entire top 6 is gone. 16 of the top 20 are off the board. The biggest recruits available, Jim Mullen, who's a heavyweight from New Jersey. Big Jim, we love him. But he's a guy who might play football. He's a very, very good football player for St. Joe's. Mark Anthony McGowan, probably not D1 football bound. Smaller guy. Nico Ruiz is the number 12, and then number 20, Hayden Walters of Oregon. Those are the only top 20s available.
Crazy, right?
Very crazy. A lot of these guys already gone, and yeah, the only top 10 guy may not even wrestle, right? He may be a football player, which you couldn't blame him there. So, you got to get on these kids early, or they're out the freaking door. Which is probably why you see some of these like freshman, sophomore type commitments.
And actually, I hate it.
And you hate it.
Ben, how many visits did you go on?
I went on all my visits.
Well, where did you all go?
I was on 6 because Wisconsin was unofficial. I went Arizona State, Northern Iowa, Missouri, Edinburgh, and Michigan.
Really?
Yeah. So I not the top tier, but kind of the next tier.
Where would you have gone? I probably ask you this. I just don't remember. Where would you have gone had you not gone to Missouri?
I really enjoyed Northern Iowa, except I just didn't want to live in a small town. That was like big thumbs down for me. But that was probably number 2. Like as far as but Missouri was kind of like for me. I don't know why, but it just was way out in front.
It was Penrith at Northern Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked them a lot.
Dude, you at Edinburgh would have been wild.
That was the same thing where both
Small
Edinburgh
town.
and Northern Iowa were like small town. I don't know. I just didn't feel. I felt like I didn't want to be in a small town.
You're a city slicker. It's okay.
Well, I felt like honestly, so I felt like the opposite about like Arizona State. I felt like that's too big of a city. I don't want to be a big city, So like Columbia is 150,000. Like somewhere in the middle of those two things is where I felt really comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think it
I'm
worked
trying
out.
to think, Ben, had you been on those Michigan? I'm just going off. I'm just thinking real quick here. Had you gone to Michigan at that time, would that have? I mean, because they were pretty good at that. They were really good at that time as well, right? Early,
yeah,
mid-2000s?
I remember. I don't remember who they signed instead of me. Maybe it was Josh Weitzel. He was the class after me. I don't remember who. No. I think they signed Nick Roy, who was my class, I believe, and I think he ended up All-Americaning, I believe. Yeah. So how many of the guys in the current class? You know why I got messed up on my earlier 18-month statement, Christian? Because on the tab at the top of the screen, and I don't know why it does this, it still says sophomores up there, and obviously they're juniors. And it says junior in your article. It says junior, but on the tab it says sophomores.
Yeah, that's weird.
How many of these that are committed in the top 50, which is probably 35 of them, I would guess? How many of them do you think are going to change their choice?
0.
0.
I would say
no. I
3
would
or
bet
less
on that one.
I think it's overblown how much kids flip.
6.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with JD that it's overblown. I think 0 is kind of crazy.
I'll bet on that one. Number greater than 0. Any number greater than 0, I would gamble on that for sure.
Yeah. I don't know who's like likely to or anything like that, but it happens. And especially now because, no one signed anything yet. There's nothing linking them. It's easy to just change where you're going. Mm-hmm. So I would say 3 or less, but he said top 50 also.
Top 50, so there's about 35 of them committed. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 3 to 5 would be, it's like 10 to 15%. I feel that'd be pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Let's continue. Where do we want to go from here?
I like the numbers. I found one number I really like. Wisconsin, I think, was number 4 points per person in the population.
Okay. Wait, is this in the by the numbers thing?
Yeah, it's the article. Listen, I think you guys should chop this article up because it's a little bit overwhelming when you're like when you start just reading through all of these numbers. It's so much. Holy crap!
Yeah.
But if you scroll a long ways down, I'll find the exact title of the graph and chart.
Points per capita.
Okay. Yep, 2022 points per capita. Wisconsin is 5th. We have 9.7 points per person in our state, or maybe it's per million. 9.7 points per million, I think is what it is.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. Behind PA, Minnesota, New Jersey, Colorado.
Colorado's the same as us, where they have, obviously a smaller population and, probably a handful. So we had Wisconsin, I believe, had 4 All-Americans. So Keegan, Parker, Buchanan, and Barnett, those 4 were the All-Americans. Then we had a few, like Peyton got close. And so I would assume Colorado is the same thing. They obviously have Deacon, who's a champ, and probably a few others. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good.
Wisconsin. It's funny seeing Idaho only had 16 points as a whole state, but they're in 6th place because their population's tiny.
Who was
Ridge?
Oh yeah, Ridge.
Who'd you say? Oh, Ridge.
Love it.
Yeah.
So what do you? I remember one time you said you had the one of your goals is to make Wisconsin the best wrestling state in America.
Yeah.
I remember when you said that.
Yeah.
Do you still think that's possible?
Yeah, we still got. I mean, we've moved. We've definitely moved. If you look at old like NCAA qualifiers per state or All-Americans per state, like it's moving for sure. It's probably pretty damn hard. Like Pennsylvania is really, really good. Jersey's really, really, really good. So yeah, we got a long ways to go.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, check out Spade's article by the numbers. A lot of really interesting nuggets and facts in here.
For real.
And then really Andy's 50 facts was really, really man, he just finds a lot of good stuff. Okay. Any other thoughts on the by the numbers?
What is he doing here? Oh my God!
For Iowa.
Bad year for Iowa.
What's up with the Corn State and their wrestlers?
On the come up.
You think they are?
Yeah, a lot of good guys coming through.
Iowa.
So that'll go back up in 3 years.
Right.
Where is Iowa? How far down are they, JD?
Right below Michigan. What is that, like 12th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
15
8,
and a half
9,
points.
10, 11, 12.
Wow.
Marcus Coleman was the only All-American.
Oh.
Only All-American from Iowa. Wow.
That's wild.
Hey, how about this tweet, though? Alex, I don't know who Alex Steen is. Patrick McKee is 12-1 in consolation matches in the NCAA tournament.
That's insane.
The 13 tournament wins overall, and the current record for D1 tournament wins is 22. McKee has 2 years of eligibility remaining. So he just needs to lose 2 more first-round matches, and he's going to have the record for the most Division I NCAA tournament wins.
Yeah.
If you're Minnesota, and I don't know how you would do this, but I'm sure at Minnesota, the coaching staff right now has got to be working on something like a bracket that's backwards. That has it's like here, Patrick, here's your bracket. He's on the backside out of the gate. Next thing you know, I mean, that's incredible what he's done. I mean, he's done it at 2 national tournaments. Did it this year at the Big Tens. I mean, when you do it that often, I mean,
it's wild.
That is wild.
But the other side of the coin is what is happening in these first round matches where he loses to guys he's better than. That also
that first round match at
very strange.
Big Tens. The first round match Big Tens, who it was the Rutgers
Shawver.
He looked like dog crap. I mean,
he got ridden for like 4 minutes.
So it's probably a weight cutting issue then, right? I mean, that's the most likely culprit is a weight cut issue.
But so many of his, he's right off the scale in a lot of these consolation rounds.
You also have to be right off the scale. Yeah.
No,
you make weight day 2.
Day 2 and day 3, I believe you get more time. I think you get like an extra hour, which honestly it really can't make a difference. It seems like nothing, but it can make a difference.
Maybe so. I don't know.
I mean,
It feels like it should be more than that, obviously.
I told him at the
else.
tournament next year, whenever he's struggling next year, it's one of those things where whatever the case is, Patrick McKee loses again. He's 2-11 on the season. It's like, don't worry, he's fine.
Yeah. One, you know what I would think about is like hypnosis. You know, you hypnotize him and you tell him he's on the backside, and you just have to, you know, give it a shot, and then let him wrestle on the front side, thinking it's the backside. Because I think it's definitely it's psychological.
Yeah.
Who is Minnesota's hypnotist on staff? I think it's Brandvold.
You got one?
I think it's Brandvold.
There you go. Hypnotize him.
Yeah, he hypnotized it. Brandvold hypnotized the ref to make him let Gino up with no time. Let him back up on his feet. Mm-hmm. I think give Trevor Brandvold a raise. I say.
Oh, he's great.
He's awesome. One of the nice guys.
Yeah, he's the best.
He balances out that big mean Brandon Eggum too. Real mean dude.
Yep.
Hey, where was the question that you asked us? Oh, it's the last. I see. I found it now.
Okay. I want to talk about this because I was thinking about it this morning. What are the best matches for NCAAs next year you want to see that we haven't seen yet? I had a couple in mind, but I'm curious for your thoughts. I'll kick it to Shane first.
Man, I rattled my cage on this, Christian, and I couldn't think of really any.
Oh, I got an obvious one.
Yeah,
I got a super obvious one. But like Shane, and I said this to you, Christian, before the show is, I looked at the rankings and almost all these dudes have already wrestled. It's really weird. There's very few people who have not competed with each other. The obvious one would be Keegan O'Toole and Dean Hamidi because they both have really fun styles and they did not compete with each other.
Oh, man.
Because I thought about him and Hartslaw, and then I'm like, no, they wrestled each other.
There's way more obvious ones than that, in my opinion. So,
what?
Okay.
Who?
Okay, Max Dean versus AJ Ferrari.
Oh.
That's not that exciting.
You're not excited about
AJ wins.
You think AJ wins? No problem.
And it's a boring ride out of somebody too. Probably.
Boring ride out. Okay. I think with AJ involved, it's likely going to be pretty exciting. Okay, I have a better one than your Keegan O'Toole one. Keegan O'Toole, David Carr. I think that's happening. David Carr's
bumping up now. We got to make up. People are moving weight classes now.
Yeah,
I don't think
we're talking about it.
It's not an if, as far as I've come to understand.
So is Carr going up to 65?
I think he's going up.
Deal?
Yeah.
He is.
What else you know about David?
Okay, then insert David Carr versus the top 5.
Yeah, Carr versus Hamidi. Dude, Keegan versus Hamidi is like just fire. I want to see Shane Van Ness versus someone. I don't know who.
Did he not wrestle any matches this year?
He did 2 matches against basically, not elite competition, and
he'll be at 49.
What about, is he going to be there at UWW Juniors?
I don't know.
He is
Why wouldn't
not
he be
registered. I don't think.
Yeah, I hadn't seen his name, but I want to see him. I mean, honestly, we've seen Yanni versus everyone. I want to see that match. I don't think he's ready for Yanni, obviously, but
yeah,
would
be so. This would be like, and I don't know why this happened, Christian, but this would be a lot more. So if Shane Van Ness went like 16-0 and he was slaughtering dudes in red shirt, I think we'd be a little more jacked up about it. But the fact that he was like essentially, I won't say non-existent, like he didn't really wrestle. It's hard to get excited about someone that's not really been competing. So I don't know why it felt like a lot of guys who are redshirting this year weren't really competing at all.
Well, we were talking about this with some Lenny Pinto. I think didn't wrestle.
Yeah,
he's someone I'm excited about, and I think did
positive things.
Who's the other guy? Jagger Condomini? Did he not wrestle either?
I don't think he did either.
Yeah, he did.
Did he? How much?
Joel Vanderveer, I don't think wrestled either.
Wrestled at all.
So
he might have a hard time making the lineup now, honestly.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Like, where does Vanderveer fit? But he's a real talent. So
yeah.
I mean, I think coming into this year, we'd be like, okay, he'll beat out Frankie Talshahar when the time comes. But Talshahar really came on at the end. But yeah, no, looks like no matches for Pinto. But it is a weird thing. Like, before the show started, I was telling JD, I was like, man, these guys wrestle every year all the time, and then they get to college their first year, and so many of them they literally stop competing. It's got to be strange. It's like I'm not a big fan. I don't think it's, or I won't say I'm not a big fan of it because I actually like it, but like I don't think you need 30 matches in your redshirt year necessarily.
So I don't see why. I actually, you know what? I wanted to say something when penalty was on, and I should have like, I don't know, the conversation was flowing and I didn't stop it.
Sure.
But I actually think that first year is like, that's where you work out all the kinks and you try all the new things. Like, you know, you're working new technique with your college coaches and you get matches and you see how it's actually working out. Like, I think that's the time to wrestle a lot of matches.
Yeah, especially when you're redshirting. It's like there are zero stakes. There's no, I mean, you don't want to, no one's going to like losing. You're going to compete, but it's like, it's the ultimate time to go, all right, all this stuff you're trying, everything you're working on, see how it works, see how it doesn't work. But you don't see as much of that anymore.
Yeah, it's weird. Was there maybe less open tournaments than in normal years or something?
It didn't seem like it. It seemed like, you know, you had your...
If you wanted to, you could go to open
tournaments. Yeah, the state open and all those in the beginning.
Yeah, especially the East. You know, I get Nebraska's not near a lot in terms of like the East Coast guys can go hit
Nebraska,
an open.
There are lots of open. They're not good opens, but
you can go there and ball up.
Yes,
some carny guys.
Yes,
that's how you gotta roll.
If you dare,
get out there, roll some dudes up.
Yeah.
No, but I went back to the class, and I think we've brought this list up before. But the class of 2021 big board, the top 10, it's like, okay, Figueroa, I mean, we're kind of like in this position where he's probably not going to start. What are they going to do with him? So we're not sure. Facundo did not do great this year. Gallagher also didn't do great I can't remember who he lost to. Van Ness, we're curious about. Ayala, we got to see. Hamidi, we got to see. Chance Lamer, another guy we didn't talk about him at all. He wasn't killing it in red shirt. Kyle Valencia, same thing, had some not so great losses. Vanderveer was non-existent. Alejandro Herrera, who's number 10, I don't know what he's doing. I'm not sure. Man, I'll look him up. Maybe we'll get excited about him.
Is he the Oklahoma guy?
Oklahoma.
Yes.
Or the Wind?
Chance Lamer. Let's see how many matches he wrestled. Chance Lamer actually got after it. He wrestled 19 matches.
He was in the streets. But, I actually like Chance Lamer a lot.
Is he Michigan?
Mm-hmm. There's Lamers all over the place. California.
Yeah.
So I think the dad had like 6 kids.
Shout out Papa Lamer. So he lost 2 matches, did Chance. He lost to Corbin Munson and Marcus Robinson.
They're both okay, but not he's not
17-2 though. That's nothing to that's
solid.
Active. Yeah, so he hit 1, 2, 3, 4 opens. So you hit enough opens, you can get 4. I mean, think 4 weekends of the entire season is not a major commitment.
Not a lot at all.
19 matches.
Not even once a month.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. I would like to see a little more data. I think it is good when you get. Well, I mean, it's cool for us because it just gives us more content and things to look at and analyze with these freshmen, and you can see how they're tracking or not tracking. And then you also get the guys, you get a little more insight. I'm trying to think of a good example of this, of someone who didn't really know a lot about, and then they have a redshirt year that's outstanding. You're like, okay, this guy is going to be a thing. But now all those freshmen that have been in rooms, they've been kind of like kept under wraps by and large. It's a little more of a surprise, I guess. So it kind of delays their surprise, but I like seeing it coming. That's part of the fun, right?
Yeah. No, and that's maybe, so who knows, maybe we see a bunch of guys at UWW juniors and we're like, oh damn, wow, like that guy got a lot better since, we haven't really seen him much. Say like a Gallagher maybe, or a Facundo or something to that effect.
That's how Ed Ruth got on my radar in like his redshirt year, or even before his redshirt year maybe. He went to some freestyle tournament. He was taking down Jordan Blanton, I think it was, at will. I was like, this dude is ridiculous. Like, I knew sort of who he was from high school, but not really. And then I was like, this guy's like, he's going to be really good next year.
I saw on Twitter this week, I think it's Ed's son wrestled his first tournament this weekend.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, he's real.
I saw it on Ed's Twitter this morning, actually.
Nice.
But I'm like, man, I didn't realize. I mean, he's been out of Penn State for time flies. He's been out for what? Been out for 5 years?
2014 he graduated.
Jeez, that is insane. That is crazy to me.
That doesn't seem like that long ago. That was my first NCAA season at Flow, the 13-14 season.
You're old,
Okay.
Christian.
I'm an old man.
Goes fast.
Yeah, it does. All right, memory lane time. All right. JD, do you have any matches to contribute for next year?
What do you got to contribute, JD?
Spencer Lee Vito.
That's one.
I was just gonna say, JD. I was just gonna say that.
I
No, he
thought
wasn't.
about it, but then I was like,
I'm like,
But it's-
125, Spencer Lee. Vito.
If Spencer Lee comes out and is completely healthy, dominating everyone, it loses a little bit of steam. But we don't exactly know what we're going to get out of Spencer next year. So this
Vito
juice
lost to
there.
Glory, so
Still a match I'd love to see.
But, no,
And then he
okay,
almost teched him the time he beat him. Though.
Okay, but if he had, he killed him at the IWAs, if he had turned around and killed him at NCAAs, or maybe not as bad but semi bad, and then he had beaten Soriano, we would all be like, oh my God, that's the match we want to see right there.
Right.
When he loses, it takes a lot of steam off it. Because then you're like, well, if Glory beat him, why don't we see Glory versus Lee more than that one?
We've seen that one before a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened twice. Now,
Twice, I think.
I do get excited about Vito versus Spencer, but then for the same reason I didn't think Vito matched up great against Soriano, even though I know he's beaten him. It's like he just makes an error a match that is just like, you can't do that. And like against Spencer, that could be like 6 points immediately, like one errant shot or one takedown or one whatever, and he's got your wrist. And I love
one takedown could be 16 points.
Yeah.
It could be 16 points. Great point.
And if Feldman goes right away,
Oh my gosh.
him versus the heavyweight field.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
Have we seen Colton Schultz versus Kirk Fleet?
No, Colton Schultz versus Wyatt Hendrickson, that's the one we want to see, baby.
Well,
Wyatt's just gonna shoot and get crushed.
yeah.
Hey, what if he picks him up all the way in the air?
Still doesn't matter.
Don't give us a ton of credit.
Kirk
Doesn't
Fleet
get
Great tournament. I
lost
did
to
not
Schultz
think he'd take second
14-8.
place.
That was 2 years ago, though.
Well, I know, but I just meant we hadn't seen.
Okay.
But
Yeah, you're right. We have seen that. But that one was still intriguing.
yeah, Schultz has kind of hit everyone left now. He's wrestled Paris. He's wrestled Cassiope. He's wrestled Kirk Fleet. Feldman versus Schultz.
And then notoriously didn't wrestle Kirk Fleet.
Notoriously. He is the notorious B.I.G. He's the true
Man,
B.I.G.
I don't know. I know people are excited and stuff. If I'm Ohio State, I'm gonna leave Nick Feldman in redshirt for a year. Why not? You're gonna get a lot better. Someone's gonna graduate. Where's the
Orndorff still has another year, so you have
He still has another
an
year.
All-American contending guy anyway.
Yeah. I don't really see why you would wrestle. I know there's a decent likelihood, but yeah. So don't a bunch of these guys graduate? Because like they have Cassiope as a junior, Davison as a junior, Paris same. I have to. It's so hard to know all their eligibility, but it feels like some of them are going to be graduated.
So Cassiope's freshman year was the COVID year that got.
So he does.
nuked.
Cassiope still has a normal year
had-
left
he's
without
got-
an extra.
Two more
I
years.
think
So 2
Cassiope's
years.
got 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
If he elects to use them.
But so Paris would only have 1 then, right?
Paris
he only has 1.
should have 1 less. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so some of these guys will be. Yeah, Mason Paris has wrestled 4 years, so he gets 1 for free. So he'll have 1 left. So like, yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't leave a Feldman in red shirt for another year.
I mean, if he's just ready, some guys are just ready to go.
Smoke him if you got him.
Yeah.
But you already got a guy who's like pretty good.
I agree.
I don't know.
Well, here's my thing. If they push all their chips in the middle, why save
And he's
him?
the best guy, sure.
And he's the best guy. If they wrestle Bouzakis and Mendez, which I don't know how that's going to work now with Mendez being a 61, wrestling low. That's about what Bouzakis is. If they don't have a true 41 there.
You're afraid it's a Carter Young situation.
Well, I think they have 2 33-pounders right now. I think Mendez.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Carter Young comes out on fire at 61 kilograms, senior world team trials, but then gets thrown in at the field at 141 in CAs. Very average.
Yeah. So, and one thing is like, should Mendez just focus on getting bigger and building up into 41 rather than trying to be a 61 and make a world team? It's like, it's tough to tell a kid don't try to make a world team, especially when he's like, he loves freestyle so much. But for the team, it's like, man, you just need to get bigger, right? Get those Bo Jordan biceps going.
Bo Jordan biceps.
Any talk on where Rocky Jordan's going?
Wow, look at Ben. Just I'd hate to burst your bubble, Ben, but literally your little microphone obscured your entire arm, and I'm not
actually
kidding.
known for my biceps. Well, that was just because it was closer to the screen.
No, I don't think that's it. I think that microphone is actually bigger than your arm. That's what happened.
I was talking about Ben this week, and literally, who the heck was I talking to? It's been in the last 3 days. Strongest guy that's ever put his hands on me is Ben Askren.
Hey, take that.
I will say that it was shocking to me. Like, I couldn't. I remember, Ben, you like grabbed me once and barely squeezed me, and I couldn't believe it. I'm serious. I couldn't believe it.
I wasn't impressed.
I'm gonna get you next time, Piles.
I just hope he forgets all this stuff. I talk so much trash from across the screen. Yes, Ben, have you crushed any produce lately?
No.
Do you have your eyes set on any?
I was feeling squirrely. I beat up on some 8th graders last night. That's about it.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what we're doing. Oh, we're talking about
we don't have that many questions compared to NCAA season. The doc is like 7 pages long. Obviously, I love Mike's question, but we don't have a lot of questions.
We never during NCAA season we only get through about a quarter of the documents every week.
I know.
Through it ever.
Yeah, let's go to Michael's question. Mike_America. Who is the favorite to win heavyweight next year, and why is it Wyatt Hendrickson?
Yeah, that's my guy right there. But I know he's joking, and you guys are gonna laugh. But if we look at the progress he made from the first year to the second year, and then we extrapolate the data, surely he's gonna realize, he's gonna be smart enough to realize that you can't just shoot into these big dudes all the time. You gotta do some other things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that?
Yeah, we'll see.
Because he wrestles hard. And listen, maybe the Air Force coaches can clip this to Wyatt and send it to him, or you just send it to me. I'll give him some good advice. Part of wrestling is how good of shape you are in, right? That matters. Okay, so if I'm in, so we'll just put a number on to make it easy. If I'm in level 50 shape and Christian isn't level 50 shape, right? It's going to be even. Christian's at level 30 shape and I'm at level 50. Now he's going to get more tired than me, right? But the other thing that factors into this, this is where Wyatt Hendrickson, he doesn't know what he's doing here. Very amateur. It's a level of efficiency. So if I'm pulling on you, right, and then I'm faking and I'm making you move and you're reacting to me, my efficiency level is going to be much higher than yours. So I'm going to get you tired, more tired than me, right? If I, however, am shooting underneath you and I'm carrying your weight constantly, I'm significantly less efficient, right? So I'm going to get more tired as compared to you. So especially at a heavyweight, because at the lightweights, it's not nearly the factors at the heavyweight classes. The heavier weight class you get, the more efficient you need to be, because if you're shooting underneath a whole bunch of times, you got a big old dude on top of you, dude, you ain't going to last very long. You're going to get exhausted, and it's going to end poorly.
There it is. Free advice from the funky one. I have a hard time other than Wyatt Hendrickson.
Kirk Leake's the favorite.
On paper, it's Schultz.
It's like Schultz for me proved a lot last year.
He did prove a lot. I mean, no doubt.
I think I love that he just knows who he is, how he wants to win matches, how he's going to go back. Like, he has a really formed identity. This is how I win the matches.
Clear path to victory.
Yes.
He's hard to beat, right? Because so, when you look at someone, you dissect him, you say, how am I going to beat this person? And I need to have a certain skill set. So number one is he's big and strong. None of these guys are going to get bigger and stronger than him in the next year. That just ain't happening, right? He's got to be a full 285, I'm guessing, when he gets on the scale. And none of them other dudes. So we're talking the other guys who would be in contention would be Kirk Vliet, Paris, Slim Tone. I don't know if you want to throw Slavakuski in there or Hendrickson. No. They're all smaller than him. They're not going to win a pushing battle against him. It's not going to happen. They're not going to get big enough to win a pushing battle against him, right? So then we go to okay, well, how do they beat him? If you try going underneath this guy, he is very, very, very difficult to go underneath. And to your point, Christian, he knows exactly who he is, so he doesn't make dumb. He's not. He's gonna go start shooting underneath people. He knows that's not who he is, right? So he's disciplined to his game plan. He's very hard to ride. So who's gonna ride him in this field?
No one's riding him.
I don't know about anybody's ones. Any of these guys. He's not great on top, but if you're not great on bottom, he does do a good job there. So. Yeah, he's a tough guy to beat. You're going to have to figure out, a way to attack at an angle. Maybe it's a low single, which obviously is precarious, but if you can, attack it, go at the heel and get the knee bent, he can't really put his weight on you. Maybe you try to get an angle. Maybe it's high singles and you try to get him called for stalling. Yeah, it's going to be a tough puzzle for these dudes to solve.
And he'd probably be the number 1 seed.
I would think, yeah.
The argument is Mason Paris took him down, I believe, twice, and then just for some reason continued to shoot. And got smashed. And
I think it was only one takedown. And he maybe rode him out, if I'm remembering correct.
Escaped.
Yeah,
Am I making that up?
Let me look. I've got the match here on the YouTubes.
Guys, for the record, if I had to pick somebody to win heavyweight today, I'm taking Gable because I think he's coming back.
Stop.
I do.
Stop.
You're crazy.
I think he's coming back. I just do.
You're crazy.
Gable Dan.
He put his shoes on the mat, Shane.
I just think he's coming
He
back.
has to wrestle barefoot.
Yeah, he can't.
He's a man of his word. If he put his damn shoes on the mat,
I just got this feeling he's coming back. I think he's coming back. I really do.
He did what Steve Mocco could never do.
What's that?
To leave his shoes on the effing mat. I think
Steve Mocco is the big guys. Let me ask you this question real quick.
I love Steve.
Who's the guy that you've met in this sport that you thought was going to be complete? I don't know if crazy is probably not the fair word, but super intimidated by, a little bit afraid of, that you couldn't believe how good of a guy they were. You got anybody that stands out? For me, it's Steve Mocco.
He is.
I can't believe how nice of a guy he is.
Nice dude, for sure.
He is. I was shocked when I met him. I couldn't believe how nice he was. I was like,
there's some guys that you think are nice that are actually mean. That happens sometimes too. So Mason only had one takedown. And then he shot, and then he was
The thing is, though, Colton's not going to shoot. Even if he is losing, he will not shoot. So why would you shoot when you are winning?
How many times has he been losing? Only,
Not much.
2 last year?
He was losing against Mason, and Mason shot and got taken down.
The one thing, all right, here's
because the part of it is he's like a freaking bulldozer. Like he will, and listen, he does a great. It's kind of lame, but he does a great. He will push and push and push, and so you kind of feel like shit. If I don't shoot, I'm gonna get called for stalling. So I kind of got it.
Third with less than 30 seconds, and I don't believe Mason had a stall.
No.
Yeah, then bad idea by Mason. But he does make you. He makes you feel like that. Like that's.
Yes,
what you
I
feel
understand
like
the pressure.
The pressure, yeah.
Yeah, so a couple things that make the heavyweight discussion a little more interesting. One is we didn't see Kirkfleet Schultz this year, and it was a different Kirkfleet this year, and I would say maybe even a different Schultz. We don't quite know. Two, Mason Paris apparently was really limited. He put out the post about his injury, and anytime you're dealing with a back or neck problems, especially with his style, that's going to change things. Now, can he get that fixed and be better next year? That's a question, because he beat all these guys pretty soundly last year, or the previous season, but wasn't able to this year, and maybe that's why. So those are the factors for me, and obviously Cassiope looms in there somewhere.
Yep.
Yes.
So yeah, heavyweight's gonna be
still
fun
really
next year.
good.
But it'll be funny because like Gable's gonna be like the boogeyman, just like
you're just waiting. It's almost like when Snyder came out that year. Was it New Year's Day when they said he was coming back or whatever? It was like that's what I'm telling you.
It'll be put to rest.
Surface.
Won't it be put to rest when he doesn't enroll in class the second semester?
Well, yeah, then we'll know.
We'll know.
But
those heavyweights will not sleep well for months.
Yeah.
Nobody's sleeping good at that weight class because they're waiting for the boogeyman. I love it.
Nah, Gable's not going to come because he's going to get on that juice for WWE.
No, don't say that. That's the worst thing he could have said.
Possible. He's not
That's
big
cool.
enough for you.
Why is it so bad if he's doing WWE?
Because it's not good for you. It's not good to be on that stuff. Oh, yeah, that guy needs his strength enhanced.
No, he needs his physique enhanced, not his strength, his physique.
There's things you can do. You don't have to get on freaking juice. He's got a lot to work with.
How do you know?
Yeah.
Ben, you know how much the juice would help.
I forgot Cassiopeia was 7th this year. Oh my
God.
God.
What? So the dudes watching wrestling don't like it, and if they don't have big muscles, they don't like it then? It's like, man, I wish he was a little more shredded and cut up.
Yes.
It helps.
Yeah, it does help.
Wow.
They don't
Look at like
every verbalize.
I'm not saying he has to be like sculpted.
JD's right here.
But he needs to work on the pecs a little bit, maybe lose a little flat.
Listen, you can work on your pecs without having to get on freaking steroids.
I'm just saying it helps a lot.
All right, I'll say this.
Work smarter, not harder.
No, it's not smarter. It's not smarter.
There are healthy steroids out there.
Look at you are such a prude.
Christian,
healthy steroids.
you know they literally put some people on steroids who need to grow.
Okay. For people who need to grow, not Gable Stevenson, the heavyweight champion of the world.
WWF guys, they're all dead by the time they're 45 years old.
That's not because of steroids. It's because they're hitting each other with chairs all the time.
No,
also,
it's because, I mean, listen, there's
they're
a lot
on
of
painkillers.
Also,
hold on.
Heavy
that's older
drinking,
people.
heavy painkillers,
That's the old WWE.
That's a crazy lifestyle. I mean, that is a lifestyle.
It was a combination of
Did
drugs,
you guys watch your Ric Flair
steroids.
video of the day? You guys, if you guys want another recommendation for me today, watch Rick. I've probably watched 3 or 4 of them today. They never get old. Ric Flair is the man. We got to get him on this show.
I thought his 30 for 30 was so sad and pathetic.
Yes,
I thought he comes up like an. I think
Yeah.
Ric Flair he comes off like a scumbag.
His persona, his character back in the 80s when he would do the interviews, there was nobody better. He's the best entertainer wrestling's ever seen.
Yeah. But his 30 for 30, you'll be like, dude, if you like Ric Flair, don't watch his 30 for 30. Not a cool person.
I love Ric Flair, the wrestler. Ric Flair, I think with Flair is the problem with him is it was the same guy. Like his wrestling kind of was his lifestyle. And that's where that wasn't good.
Yeah. Listen, last thing I'll say on the Gable Physique thing, if I can just get this point out. It's like, listen, he's been training his body to be the best at the sport of wrestling. So he developed his body for that.
Tyler's on fire, man. Tyler is killing it today.
He got it. This is, okay. Now he can change his mindset around, okay, now I just want to have like show muscles and just focus on that. And it's a completely different lifting routine regimen, right?
Correct.
I mean, I don't think he's got to go on steroids to look more impressive. At least, how about you do 1 year of a bodybuilding style workout and then see where you're at. And if you still look bad, okay, I still don't think it's a good idea. I still think it's preposterous that, okay, wow, this guy's pecs aren't big enough. I don't like him as a wrestler. Just maybe typifies just how audacious the wrestling fandom
you're underestimating
actually
the science of steroids.
Yeah. I mean,
listen,
Dwayne Johnson got that way being all natural.
It's not just like
what?
Blood stuff just isn't black
Dwayne Johnson, there's no way that guy's all natural. Are you crazy?
Hey, did you see him at the U?
I'm trolling.
Okay.
Brock Lesnar, all natural.
I'm not touching that stuff, period.
Absolutely not. What?
I just would never touch that stuff. No way.
Well,
no
I would say, so
way.
I'm not like no way, never. Like if I'm like 60 and like, I'm starting to deteriorate, I get on testosterone.
Then it's okay. Then it's okay.
Yes.
Then you're going to kill yourself.
No, because it's completely different at that point.
I mean, if you're older like that, yeah, it's like I've never, I'll give you guys a real quick, like my dad died of brain cancer a few years ago. And it's just like his final year, final 6 months. We know it's over. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is like one of my little regrets kind of with this topic. And I've never touched a drug. I think I've taken one puff of a cigarette. Like, just not my deal. But my dad smoked at the end. And I would like get pissed at him for smoking. And looking back at it now, I'm like, he should have been doing whatever the heck he wanted to. Like, do whatever, so kind of like that too. I've never touched drugs. But if I'm older and I got cancer or whatever, and marijuana can help me feel better, then I'm doing it. Like whatever makes you got to feel comfortable.
A lot of people
I'm not
think
doing it for enhancement purposes in sports. No way.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think your hair's on PEDs though.
It's getting thin. I got a couple more years to hang on, and then it's going to be decision time because it's getting thin. Up top, it's getting thin.
What decisions are you gonna have to weigh?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But.
I mean, you could since you have time, you could get a high end wig maker to be like, all right, here's
I'm not opposed to it.
Oh my God, Shane. Shane in a toupee. It would be funny.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see. Whatever it takes.
I think the main problem with the wig toupee gimmick is like that people try to act like it's the real thing. I think if every broadcast you had a completely different hairstyle, then it'd be like, yeah, this is just like the hat I'm wearing today.
Yeah. Yeah, just own it. Yep.
Okay. Anything else before we go? This has been good. Oh, someone wants to know when Ben is getting tasered.
We got.
Do you know how excited people are about? I get DMs all the time.
I think I know when it's going to happen.
When?
Well, like I said, I'm not going to help you guys do it, but if you show up with a taser and you're like, "Hey Ben, you owe us," like, shit, you're right. You know what? I do owe you.
Oh man, let me know when that happens.
Mark Bader's going to show up with one at the Beat the Streets thing.
Final X New York, man.
That's what I'm guessing is going to happen.
Oh man,
I don't even know if you're allowed to have tasers in New York. What
else? New York's so lame.
We'll have to smuggle one in. Okay. Well, we'll leave on the taser topic. This has been a fun show.
Christian, give me one more thing to talk about.
Please.
How amazing. I mean, I think that Gregor Gillespie, the flow.
I just watched it last night.
That was so powerful.
Yes.
That film was fantastic. It should be winning awards. That film will save lives. I mean, wow. I was glued to that. I'm going to sit down and make my kids watch it. That was incredible. The Flow films keep getting better, and they were always great. But now I just think there's that one had so much meaning and power behind it. Yes. Fascinating. That was it kind of reminded me of The Bad Cut. That was another one I thought was really good. But hats off. I'm not just saying this because I work here. That was extraordinary. It was an extraordinary piece of work.
I agree.
Well,
I mean,
thank you.
I've always been a big Gregor Gillespie fan too. I just like that. I just like him. I think he's awesome.
And it's and I think I had said that, like, it was crazy as someone who watched Gregor when he was in apparently the throes of addiction, you would have no idea. Watching like, this guy's a beast, right? But I say thank you, but it's like, man, it's Bader and Mike Mal and all the shooters that you don't know, and the editors and producers did an amazing job. The guy that edited Terry, Jeremy Hayes, is the guy that edited this film. He's absolute all-star for Flow. So yeah, glad you guys liked it. If you haven't seen it yet, please do.
You got to watch it. You have to watch it. You have to. I would say, we all love wrestling. That is the best. I think it's the best Flow film out. I just thought it was awesome because I think that film can seriously. You can't tell me there weren't people watching that film that are battling that stuff, that film isn't going to make them think or alter their path. I thought it was awesome.
Well, we certainly hope so. It's up for free. If you want to watch it now, send it to whoever, and hope they enjoy it like you guys do. I say enjoy. Enjoy, sort of a weird word to use around something that deals with that, but glad you guys liked it.
Good. That was a good callback there, Shane. I'm glad you brought it up. I watched it last night. I had the same feeling.
Oh man, it was so good. So that stuff as a parent, I'll never touch it just the way I'm wired. Yeah. But as a parent, that stuff scares the living out of me. Because these kids don't know what they're doing. It's like, I'm just going to try this, and they think that it's something that's not, and then it's laced with something, and now you're in trouble. I mean, this is a problem. It's just
it's crazy how fast you go from the pills to you're freaking shooting heroin. This guy is like, it's crazy. It's freaking
That
nuts.
scares the hell out of me as a parent. Just
I'm with you, and I'm like, man, what did my parents do that just made me totally like never even feel like tempted by this? Like, I know that's like, it's a real strong temptation for a lot of people, and for whatever reason, I don't know. I do credit my parents. I don't know what they did, but I'm like, I want to do that for my kids because I want them to be like, this is not for me. But it's an easy trap for a lot of really good, high quality people fall into, and there's not always a way out. But there is. So.
Addiction is a tough. I used to be a little bit when I was younger because, again, I never touched a drop of alcohol in high school. It's just not my deal.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, it was basically like, you do this and you're a loser. Like, it was just kind of how I thought. And now it's like that stuff is just, it's tough. And once you try it once and now you're addicted to it, now it's just such a sad thing to watch.
Yeah.
So
very sad for sure. Okay. Now we'll go.
What else you guys have going on this week? Ben, how was Miami?
Shane doesn't want to end the show. He said, Christian, we are not ending the show. We want to it was great.
Awesome.
Mr.
But you guys
Bitcoin.
have a great week.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Ben.
Go Braves.
Go Braves. Go Astros.
Morning
Go
beer.
Orioles, especially. They need more help than anyone. The Orioles need to get in the NIL deal. Someone, I don't know. My gosh, the Orioles. Terrible.
All right. See you tomorrow. I'm out of here.
See you tomorrow. Happy Wednesday. Goodbye.